here on FTA Sport, and delighted to say I've been joined by victorious Solent Devils coach Alex Murry, our first time that we've really got an opposing coach to come and give us his views, and it's a good time to catch you, Alex. You've just come off the back of a penalty shot win. You win that in dramatic fashion. You were pretty much in control for 40 minutes, and then that third period kind of got away from you a little bit.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we were in control for most of the game. I think we outshot the Pitbulls 12-3 in the first, and other than a little bit of penalty trouble near the end of the second, I felt like we controlled the game well, went into a 2-0 lead early, but as you know, the crowd here never gave up, and the Bristol Pitbulls never gave up, and once they got that first one in the third, the momentum just shifted massively, and within 2-3 minutes we found ourselves 3-2 down. The crowd were really engaged, and we had our backs against the wall, even though we kind of felt like we were in control of the game. So look, we hung on in there, and we were lucky to get our third goal at the end there to tie it, and going into overtime and shootout, anything can happen, and we're just lucky we got the win there.
I'm just interested, if I may, Alex, the mentality when because I'm new to this league, the Pitbulls are new to this league. You're coming down on the bus or whatever today, and you're coming down with a team that you've got your defensive core there, but some of the forwards are out. Are you saying to the guys, right, we're just going to play neutral zone trap and try and take our chances when they come? As a coach, it must be an interesting challenge. How do you adjust your team based on who you've got on the roster on any given night?
Yeah, it's difficult, at this level, guys playing semi-professional or amateur, and sometimes guys can't make games, injuries, when you're playing double-header weekends and working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, we don't always have a full strength squad. We had 8D tonight. We played 5D, but 3 of them went out as forwards, and you're right, because of that, we changed our game a little bit. We've only got one out-and-out goal scorer in Elliot Lewis tonight, and the rest of the guys are just hard-working players, and we know that the strength of Bristol is their young, energetic speed, and it was about just allowing them possession in the right areas, but as soon as they get into the danger zones, it was about taking that space away, and it obviously went to plan for 40 minutes, maybe 50, but we went to sleep a little bit in the third, but delighted as I said, we showed a bit of maturity there and turned that game back round.
No, your game management was excellent, and I was going to ask, your game management was excellent for 50 minutes, then all of a sudden you find yourself 3-2 down in a building that's jumping. As a coach, I guess you're really proud of that composure that was shown to get back in the game. Not sure who scored the equalising goal. That was a nice shot from a number 73, I believe, but it showed some good composure from your team.
It does. I mean, I think we called a timeout. I'm not sure if that was after the second or third. It's a bit of a blur for me now, but the guys were just a little bit panicky. I think the crowd were really engaged. As I mentioned to you, I don't think the players have played in front of that big a crowd before, and the place was rocking. And a lot of my guys then became a little bit apprehensive, a little bit anxious. They weren't doing the right things on the puck. So the timeout was just about, we know what we're doing. We're a very systematic team, and our trainings are all about our systems. We just do repetitive stuff, drill it into the players. So when they're on the ice, they don't have to think. They're almost robotic. When the crowd, over 1,300 people, however many are in tonight, are all screaming and cheering for the other team, we made 2 mistakes after the first mistake. And so the timeout was just a little bit about, come on, we know what we're doing, let's relax, and credit to the guys. We've got some young guys. I know we've got some experienced guys, but we've got 3 of the NIHL 2 team out here tonight playing, and it's a great opportunity for those guys as well, and it's a great chance for them to play in front of a crowd like that and a team like Bristol, and we've come out of it on the right end, and I'm delighted that the guys were able to show that maturity and composure at the time when we really needed it.
Just a couple more questions for you, because I know your time is precious.
That's
but one thing I wanted to ask is obviously there's a lot talked about Solent and playing on maybe a smaller ice pad and playing in different circumstances. Everyone talks about the difficulty of going to Solent. I suppose that works the other way. It must be difficult when you go on the road and having to adjust to maybe a bigger ice pad, as you say, more fans here tonight. So again, you guys have to make that adjustment every week.
It's a real big adjustment. That said, if we had this conversation during the previous 8 years of my coaching, we were strong at home and struggled away, and we would very rarely lose a game at home. This year, I think we're about 7-6, our record at home. We're really struggling at home for some strange reason, because normally it takes teams a period to adapt, and by then we're 2-3 up, and we're, as I mentioned, we're very systematic. So once we're up, we've got a great goaltender and some great D, try and break us down. So we've been really struggling at home. I think the team this year, after losing Facey at the end of last year, after losing Sesenis midway through the year, we've kind of preferred to play on big ice, because our younger guys, the less experienced guys, are used to playing on big ice. We've got Oscar Evans out of Basingstoke. We've got Charlie Wedge, who's on a 2-way from our NIHL 2. And those kind of guys that want to use their speed and are quite nimble, Elliot Lewis is another prime example, that these big rinks favour them. So actually, we've probably been more confident away from home, which is a really strange thing to say. But as you mentioned, teams do struggle at our rink. We struggle at our rink, if that makes sense. We'd much prefer to be in a facility like this. We understand that we're not. Those are challenges that we've always had, but we're really proud that we overcome those challenges and we're competitive in this league. And I mean, tonight was great, and the guys really enjoyed being here. But back home we go next week.
And just finally, Alex, obviously Streatham are a standard ahead at the moment. And congratulations to them on their league title win. But going into playoff time, we talk a lot about the Pitbulls, having a shot at it, getting to a playoff final in a one-off game. Anything can happen. But there's 3 or 4 teams there at the moment, including Solent. You must be looking at the same thing, going, anything can happen come playoff time. And if it is a final against Streatham, we just want to be the team they're facing.
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, Streatham are by far the runaways of this league. They've done credit to them. We've had a great rivalry with them over the last 2 or 3 years, but they've kind of just taken that little one step further, and that's great for them. Investment helps. It doesn't help for us when we're stuck out the way. But as you mentioned, I think we looked at tonight that if we lost tonight, we'd have dropped to 5th. If we won tonight outright, we'd have gone 2nd, and that just shows you the league at the moment, other than first, is very up and down. You could lose 2 games on the bounce and be at 6th position, and come playoffs, you don't want to be down there. So I think everyone's objective has changed, and everyone wants to be in that top 4. You probably want to avoid 4th, but you've got to get there first. The likes of Oxford and Romford are going to be at the other end of the 8 are no slouches. They've beaten us twice each. So yeah, we are looking at where that sits now. We've got, I think, 6 games left in the league, and placement is really key. We probably want to, if I'm being honest, we probably want to be in that 2nd or 3rd spot to give us the best chance of getting ourselves to that final. But as you just mentioned, Bristol are there, Chelmsford are there, Invicta are there, and everyone is vying for those spots. That said, whereas beforehand in this league, if you finish in the top floor, you're pretty much guaranteed the semis. I don't think that's the case this year. I think, as you say, right down to the bottom, these teams are really competitive, and so we are gearing up. We're resting some of our guys that are injured. We're hoping to have some guys back. And come playoff time, anything can happen. And if we get a chance against anyone in the final, we'll be looking to take it with both hands.
Well, it's going to be some great hockey to end the season. You can watch it on FTA Sport. Alex, a real pleasure to speak to you. I think we're seeing you again in a couple of weeks, so maybe we can do this all again. But safe journey home, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Cheers.